Van Timmeren from Celebration Cinemas has, I think, probably already maybe seen the Anchorman 2 movie. I don't know if he stays up late. I can't do that anymore. I'll stay up all night and come and do the show. Have you seen it yet, Ron?
I did stay up late. We had a 10 p.m. show at Celebration Cinema. I checked out with a crowd that was really into it, and it's Anchorman 2 is here.
Is there any question it's going to be the #1 movie at the box office this weekend?
No, although, there's a lot of good stuff this weekend. Saving Mr. Banks, American Hustle go wide this weekend, too, and the second week of Hobbit is still going to be strong. I thought the tracking numbers for Anchorman 2 were a little soft at $40 million for the 5-day. I think it's going to do better than that.
So critically, do you like it?
You know what? I made no secret the one was not my cup of tea, and this one is more of the same, and some of it's brilliant and inspired, and some of it is dunderhead stuff, and I think that's what endears you to this character, Ron Burgundy, and all the knuckleheads that are with him. And so, it was a lot of fun. The audience loved it.
Is it under 2 hours?
Yes, sir. 119 minutes.
It just barely made it under the wire. But I was reading that there's a lot of improv, that they would shoot scenes sometimes 10 times just to see if they can get a little more funniness out of them. But sometimes that causes a detour in the story arc, and that it becomes almost like sketch comedy.
Yeah, and how can you not have Will Ferrell and Steve Carell and Paul Rudd and Kristen Wiig all in a shot in a scene and not improv? I mean, they just have to do it. It's in their DNA. So a lot of that stuff ended up on the screen, and it's some of the funniest stuff.
Turn them loose and let them go, right?
Absolutely. You've got these multi-million-dollar comedy stars. You just got to let them go.
Are there as many buzzwords as there were in the first one, where people say, stay classy, Grand Rapids, or scotch, and some of the other ones?
You know what? You can never tell the first time through. They sort of just grow on you after seeing it, or people, regurgitate it in social media. So I couldn't pick out any, but I know they're in there.
Are there any surprise cameos?
Oh my gosh! Unbelievable amount of the big finish. The battle of the newscasters is full of comic stars like Jim Carrey and Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, Sacha Baron Cohen, Liam Neeson, and Vince Vaughn, and more. I mean, it's just a who's who of comic actors in Hollywood.
Okay, so there you go. I mean, it's going to be kind of an event movie. And do you sense there would be an Anchorman 3?
You know what? It's been a long time, 9 years to get this thing done.
Yeah.
I hope they go a little quicker this time, but absolutely yes.
Well, you know what? The story is kind of interesting because what we saw in the original Anchorman was back in the 70s, what a newsroom was like. And now, as I understand it, they kind of go in, and he's joining what would be a national news, like when they invented CNN.
Yeah, this is GNN, okay? And it's the 80s, man, and they got a lot of territory to cover for sequels.
Yeah, so, I mean, if they follow what happens in the real world in the news business, he could probably make 3 or 4 or 5 of these things. What does the G stand for in GNN?
Global News Network.
The Global News Network. And they even have a Rupert Murdoch type person in Aussie that runs it all, huh?
It was a pretty silly comedy too. I didn't know who that actor was, but he was fun. Everybody had a great time making this movie, I can tell.
A little bit of a blend between Fox News and CNN, it sounds like, from some of the clips I've heard, in terms of slanting the news and what is news and what is entertainment. Did they explore that a little bit too?
Yeah. Why do we have to tell people what they need to hear? Let's tell them what they want to hear.
There you go. Well, what they want to hear is from you that Anchorman 2 is funny, worthwhile, and on the silver screens across the state right now.
Absolutely must see.
Ron Van Timmeren.
See the movies.
See you at the movies and see you in the newsroom. It's 8 before the hour with Michael Patrick Shields from the AT&T studio.